Gentlemen, do you know what I realised? We actually never drop at the beginning. We just start talking. You start shouting.
Freestyling.
You start shouting.
Let's go to freestyle.
Straight into it.
Yeah, Chelsea get corned. But welcome to Stoppage Time TV. Like that. We've got our first guest today. It's an honour to have the founder of FFDTV.
Yes, what's happening, man?
D, how you doing? Good?
Yeah, good, yourself?
Well, man. It's a pleasure to have you here with us, man. I mean,
Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate it.
Advocates of youth here. This guy,
Love that.
You.
guy, right?
We love you. We love you. We love you.
I don't want to look at
We
you,
love
but,
you football.
Before we get into youth, so does that mean that Chelsea and United are playing Europa next year?
Why United? Don't drag United into any of this Europa talk.
Listen,
Did we lose today? Huh?
You getting top 4?
But why not? Why not?
Because you've got City and Chelsea to come still.
What is that going to do anything?
So it's part of your fixture list. I'm just saying.
Anything.
You got 3 games left.
Yeah,
You got Chelsea and City.
We win our games, we'll get top 4 in it. So we'll see. We'll see. Everyone's going to drop points.
Let's go into that game quickly, and then because we've got D with us, it's worthwhile going into some juicy topics. So I've got nothing to say. I'll be honest. I can't blame Sarri. I can't even blame Hazard.
They tried to build it up like it's Salah v Hazard. What happened?
Wait,
What happened?
Did he get a fresh trim again?
What happened?
No, he didn't get a fresh trim this time.
No,
So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But I mean, yeah, man, we have to win Europa League now, man.
I mean, yeah, pretty much because everyone's got game in hands on you guys.
Arsenal
but I
got
mean,
2.
they're probably Chelsea are favourites for me. They've been favourites from the start. They've been
For what?
playing their second team for the Europa League. Yeah, you've been playing your second team nearly all season in the Europa League, and you're still this
Got
far.
one of the FFD ballers
So-
in there as well.
Come on.
Yeah. So and he's been tearing up
decent,
the Europa League as well. So, but I think you guys will win the Europa League anyway. I think it'll be Arsenal Chelsea final. So that's going to be interesting because once United and Spurs lock off the top 4, that's going to be a battle for the Champions League. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Wait.
So you're
I
getting
say.
top 4.
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. He rose again. I mean, we talk about this. So we've got this thing here, right?
Contender
where
for goal of the year.
we say that players have to rise, and the caliber of player that has to rise is someone that's of very
Elite
quality.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you know like an Aguero's playing, a Salah's playing, a Hazard's playing, you
Pogba.
can't hide. You can't hide. There's no excuse. Very similar to kind of like maybe a showcases where you tell the players, you know what, you have to play well today.
Yeah.
Like certain man have to rise.
Of course.
So
I agree.
Salah rose today, and my boy Hazard. Moving like caution instead of Hazard. But
I don't need to say too much. Everyone's seen what I say. I
No,
want,
but
I,
you
I, I want Fuad to speak. I want Fuad to speak on Salah producing today
Salah done well. Probably goal of the year contender
in one of the biggest games.
in a big game. Yeah,
Was it
but
like-
it was
Screamer.
amazing goal.
34
You'll see
yards
it,
out.
screamer.
Probably screaming top corner. But I mean, let's not act like it's probably the first big game he's turned up in this year. Like against big opposition. It's done well.
But that doesn't matter though.
I'm
Well,
just
but
saying.
people
Hold
have
on,
to
that's the
rise.
reason.
Hold on. But this
Hold
is
on, hold on. We started
Alright.
this segment with people have to rise,
Yeah.
and this
I
is
know
the
you're saying it
first
doesn't matter.
time
So what about
Salah
the game
has
against
rose.
Southampton? Didn't he rise?
No,
Oh,
but
don't try saying
games.
it's just Southampton.
Big games.
It
That's
is
not a
just
big game. That's not a big game
top
for
6 games.
Nah.
That's a tense game for the result reason.
So big
But it's
games
not a
are just
big
being
game.
defined for top 6.
just a big
but if you're
games.
playing the top 6, that's automatically a
In
big
the
game.
title race, every game's a big game.
Listen,
You wouldn't
so
know that 'cause
respect
you're a
to what
Spurs
Salah's
fan.
done
You
this year.
wouldn't know
Listen,
that. You wouldn't know that.
7 games he didn't
This
score
guy
for.
doesn't know what big games are.
low blows.
7 games he didn't score for. What are we saying there?
Yeah, Mane did his thing in that point, and then now what? Now it's come back.
What do you mean Mane did his thing? Where was Salah during that run?
He wasn't having a good time.
It wasn't
He was having a good time.
and simple, and now he's having a good time.
Yeah. Now he's coming through.
So because he's had one game now, it's you
It's
want
one
to
game.
ride the
He's
horse
back.
and be like,
He's
oh, he's back. No, we're not doing this.
So he's not back.
What do you mean he's not back? He was never gone. This is Salah
So why are you telling
regular
me about
business.
7 games? Why is he telling me
Salah
about
it
7
goes
games?
missing in the big games. That's all I've always said.
What do you mean?
And this is the first big game where he's turned up.
So if
well
we
done,
were to
Salah.
get the goal in this,
Let me see this more often.
If we were to get
Let me
goal
see
in
this
assists,
more often.
of players that have produced in the most in the big games in the last 2 years, so you know Salah will be on
Well,
top
you're
of that
going
list.
back 2 years. I'm talking this season.
Yeah.
He just wants to extend the calendar to suit his agenda. Stop that. No. This year.
You've got your Twitter fans watching this, and this is what you're talking.
Listen, all I'm saying
Let me
is,
pull up.
at the end of the day, everyone was talking about Mane is the more important, blah 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 blah. Yeah, Mane scored as well, but at the end of the day, boy, Salah decider. He's the main man, and Hazard, who
He had a couple of chances as well.
exactly,
Yeah, 2 chances in 5
exactly.
minutes.
I thought the first one was quite unlucky because it was a really good touch.
Yeah.
And,
Nah, you gotta be burying that, man.
nah.
You gotta be burying that.
I think you're thinking right.
Nah,
think-
what?
I think-
Except some score.
Yeah.
You got to score
Listen,
that.
he done well today. He done well to score his goals.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But
You've got to bury that for
what
me.
what's quite interesting about this game in particular is that if you look at the backdrop of it, it's a very important game, and you've got a Liverpool side who's playing a fullback, first full season, right? How old is Trent?
What's Trent now? Like 19, 20?
He's 19.
Yeah, 19, 20.
You've got
Yeah.
Loftus-Cheek playing in the midfield. You've got Hudson-Odoi starting the big game. On
Third start in a row now,
third
isn't it?
start in a
Yeah.
row. On that side of things, it's quite interesting. Such a massive game. You've got a lot of young players, you know, actually having to play pivotal roles.
Yeah.
Trent's always doing bits for Liverpool. He's always he's Mr. Consistent. Like, he's always there. Sometimes gets caught out, but when you're a young player, you're learning. It's just interesting because you work with a lot of young players.
Yeah.
You have essentially 2 platforms now.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So,
So we got the online, which is the original players we work with. A lot of the pros now, young pros. Like you mentioned, Callum, Hudson-Odoi, Reece Nelson, Jadon Sancho. Many names. But the academy side of things is just trying to get boys signed. People who may not have had the opportunity before or been released.
Yeah.
And give them a platform to showcase themselves, really.
Yeah. And well, how do you guys get like? So when you're playing against these, with the boys that you have, when you're playing against these guys, like, I don't know, when you play against the professional teams and stuff, how do your boys fare? Like, are they? Is the level?
It's tough because last week we beat Swansea 3-2.
Yeah.
Good
Well done, man.
exercise.
Big look.
That was thanks. That was
did you go down to Swansea for that game?
yeah.
Oh, that's
It was
away
up to-
trip
it was
win
up
as
to
well.
3
That's
hours. It
double
was
win.
like 5 hours each way.
Mad.
But we went down 1-0, equalised, went down 2-1, equalised, and won the game. And that was mentality, and a lot of things learnt from previous games we had. We played Southampton, lost 2-0, but the level of Southampton, top.
Proper
top
side.
Yeah,
academy.
that's a proper
Do
academy.
you have to like get the player onto a certain level, then say, okay, do you know what? Then you can play this kind of position, because I imagine all these teams that you play, your friendlies obviously. It's not like a league.
Showcase games, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So like, do they have to come to a certain level depending on who you're playing against, or?
Yeah, it depends on.
It's your reputation. In the hand as
Of course, it depends on which players we need for which games. We've got a big pool of players to choose from,
Okay,
so it just whoever shines on training, previous games, we take it to account and bring them to the next game.
But on what you've said now about you went to Southampton, right? And it's a difficult game.
Yeah.
So for me, Southampton managed to get a successful pipeline of players
Sure.
into Prem.
Big players.
We
yeah.
had a debate. We've got a group. We had a debate because me and Cam were arguing that United have heritage, because even if their players don't play for Man United, the Premier League is flooded with academy players that have come through.
Yeah.
But is it getting harder for young academy players to break through? We're seeing it. I mean, Chelsea fan. I'm seeing a lot of the players having to leak into Championship, bat it up there, and then still not manage to come back to Prem. Like, if you look at, let's say, like one of your Tammy, more goals than games.
Yeah.
Is that because the level is so high, or is it that he just needs a chance? Like, how you see when you play these teams? What's the climate at the moment with these players?
In terms of the boys they're trying to sign, it's difficult, but it all depends on which club it is, what they need. They might say we need a certain position, so I've got to look at what kind of player they need. And in terms of, you mentioned someone like Tammy, top striker, 24 goals this year already, you know, and 23 goals for Bristol City before.
Yeah.
And I believe he'll get to where he needs to get to. Everyone's got a different journey. Everyone's got a different path, but it just opportunity, managers, depends how the clubs run. It's a lot of things come into it.
Yeah. I feel like that's the thing that everyone seems to forget, that everyone's journey is different. We all want a 19-year-old straight away to be different levels, scoring 20 goals, 20 assists immediately. We forget that
some
people...
producers don't want youth though.
But wait, so you
don't even want youth at their clubs.
so you got like you
got to have youth.
You honestly forget that these players are still young. Even when they're 21, 22, 23, they're still young, and everyone they could be late bloomers, everything. But nowadays with social media and stuff, no one cares about that. Like, if
you got, the thing is, you've got the game, you've got social media, a lot of things come into it now, but the people behind the game, more often than not, they know what's what. Sometimes we could disagree online, and that's what social media is for.
Yeah.
I always tend to say someone like Marcus Rashford. Top example, opportunity.
Don't even.
I'm not saying nothing.
Why you like Rashford, Marcus?
Of course,
he's top 5.
It's a fanboy.
No,
Top
Boy.
5.
top talent.
Top talent. Top
And I
talent.
think that he's example. He's example of working hard. And when he got the opportunity, grabbed it.
Yeah, 100%.
Similar in a different situation, but Jaden, top talent as well.
Top talent, man.
Bundesliga, and yesterday he scored his 10th goal, 13 assists for the season.
Sent them to the top of the table as well. So he's doing things at the big ends. You know what I mean?
I think different people understand the game differently. That's why it's a beautiful game. That's why we call it that. It's all about opinions. But hey, it's a game. Football.
Yeah.
I think the one thing you just touched on there is a social media aspect of it, and I think the good thing we've seen with your kind of channels, you've gone from kind of just a YouTube page to an Instagram, and then now the app. What does the app bring, and what does that give us an insight on?
So that's basically set up of giving everyone the same platform.
Okay.
So the boys that we mentioned,
Yeah.
that's already
So they get
professional.
highlighted, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, if they score, they assist,
Wicked.
and we highlight that. Also, people who have not been signed,
Yeah.
our academy games are also on there as well.
Brilliant.
So you can see, everyone loves nothing to something.
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
good to let people know, look, we're ground level. How we started was 7 years ago. I would say two big players we worked with.
Yeah.
Time went on, then we met Jaden Sancho, Reece Nelson, and it just took off.
And
from
it's
there.
just kind of grown from
And
there.
that video on the app is literally showing them at 14 years old.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
playing
We've seen.
in the park.
Mad.
So we don't want to come away from the point of the real authentic street football, and that's a big part of
Yeah.
FFDTV. People always ask, "What's it about?" It's about being free, and it's a pleasure to see Jaden and Callum just playing at what we represent.
Yeah.
That's
The way they
ba-
play, yeah.
That's basically how.
Because I think that's what you said in one of your other interviews, is that you kind of reminisce on the Brazilian style in the 90s, where you kind of, that's where your inspiration almost comes from behind this, and that's the kind of talent you hope to unearth someday.
We always wanted to show that England have got skillful players,
Yeah.
street skillful players, and yeah, it's a pleasure to work with
Yeah.
top talents like that.
There's two parts of that I want to tap into though. So first part is with the social element and whatnot. So we had a joke conversation saying that Ferguson probably retired at this right time because he wasn't adapted to the way the world is moving now. So like he wouldn't pick up or get his scouts to pick up an Instagram or pick up something or watch clips of people who
Yeah.
can watch it in person. So what is the climate like when you've got a platform that shows everything like small clips? It's not like a 90-minute clip like back in the day. How are clubs receiving that and saying that, okay, with the 2-minute clip, this is someone I want to look into? Is that the way things are now? That there's
Football's always been, no one's going to watch a 90-minute game all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
So a lot of the time for a club to even get down there,
Yeah.
they want to see a clip. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 10 minutes. It could be just chopped up highlights. And that, I wouldn't say Ferguson wouldn't be able to adapt to the
No,
new-
we were
Consider
joking-
that
we
he's
were
dis-
joking-
he's
No, no, no,
disrespecting.
no.
He's disrespecting.
What was it?
He's disrespecting.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
disrespecting.
yeah,
He's
Was it not your colleague
disrespecting.
over there?
Disrespectful,
Yeah,
innit?
you can't-
Disrespectful.
you can't
Man's just thinking
disrespect
five.
Big Sir Alex.
You can't disrespect the boss. No.
Sir, disrespecting Sir Alex like this.
No, but essentially what we're saying is like the game is so crazy now that like with some of your clips, some of it might be matches, some of it might be like skill sets and whatnot. You look at some of the skills that some of these guys are doing, you're thinking like, right, that's crazy.
But I think that's the app, what the beauty that it brings,
Yeah.
that it kind of just
It's confusion.
nutshells all of that together, and you've kind of got the ease of access for it, I'm guessing, right?
I think a big part of what you just said now about just watching short clips.
Yeah.
People didn't necessarily believe that certain things that the boys was doing, they're just young. And I always said, like I still says, just wait. You just have to wait and see. And it's not about, like I said, the game's about opinions. Yeah, that's how the game's based upon. That's why we love the game. That's why we turn up to the stadiums, have banter with the friends. Look, we're here talking about
Yeah,
it
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's not about, in terms of clips, everyone works differently.
Yeah.
Everyone works different. And I think now, in terms of the young players, the talent that's coming through now,
It's ridiculous.
Tell us about that talent. 'Cause, I mean, you see it day to day. What's going on in the streets? What are you seeing out there that
What
we
am I
need to
seeing?
be? Yeah, that we
Because
need
it's
to get
really,
up.
it really
Because
is
you're-
the streets as
so-
well.
so-
It's
It is,
really the
That's what I
streets.
said, it is
That's the best
streets.
thing about it.
What are you seeing now?
What I'm seeing now is the guys that you mentioned already,
that
you may not see in depth, like a Rashford or a Sancho or Hudson-Odoi, that level of play of how they do their bits. I believe England in the future will have
be full of that
direction. Yeah. Is there like loads of players?
The reason why I say that, sorry to cut you. The reason why I say that is because I was down when it was under 15s and the 16s at St George's Park, and any country, you know, Holland, Brazil, coming down at Germany, and the England team
giving smoke.
It's a different level. Technically, you can see it.
Under 17s team won the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like Ryan Sessegnon wasn't even in that squad. Ryan Sessegnon, top player as well.
Didn't have the greatest season.
And even Sancho got withdrew.
To be honest, it's been a tough time for Fulham.
Yeah.
A lot of changes in the summer, but as I said, Ryan's a person where he'll do what he needs to do in the game.
Yeah.
Along with like Phil Foden.
He's a baller.
Definitely.
You mentioned Jaden already.
Big
you mentioned Callum already.
Yeah.
Jonathan Panzo. A lot of people haven't heard of him.
Yeah, I can't lie. I haven't really
good,
put my eye on him.
I've got him in my football manager file. He's a wicked player.
So yeah, Jonathan Panzo's at Monaco now.
Do you think like you said, like, Session didn't have a good season, but do they still come up with you? Like, do you still give like some sort of like a disappointment of some sort? Do you still like there for them in a way? Because you said like a personal relation.
No. In terms of disappointing season, I don't. That's what you guys are saying. I don't see his disappointing season from himself. He's come from the Championship. His stats in the Championship is crazy. It's been a tough time for the club, but in terms of the boys that we originally worked with, they've got their careers now. I don't manage nothing to do with their career.
Cool. So basically, it's like.
I highlight their career now.
Yeah.
You know, so the
you
academy,
just showcase some of the talent you've worked with.
The academy is something separate. The academy is more 2-3 times a week. I'm hands on with these guys. I work with them. I talk about maybe off the field as well. Like you just
social
asked.
media and that.
Yeah, and how things may affect them and
the attitude.
Exactly. So that's my new look on things, and that's what's been a year and a half. The academy's been running, and clubs like Swansea, we've played Charlton, Derby County, we signed some boys at there and last summer, Burnley, Leicester, you know, Swansea. Just
and that's
so how long do you actually give? Do you have like a certain time limit for the player to give them that? I mean,
it's always tough. The game's always based on opinions, as I say, and depending on how the boys come, my fitness is really intense. So just because I feel that when you go to these places, I always say that these guys are full time. We're part time. Everyone's got their own. They've got to manage their own diets. Everyone's got to manage their own gym. We haven't got that luxury.
No.
So when we're working, we need to work. So in terms of game time and managing the boys, it's down to a lot of it's down to in their mind as well. What they need to be doing on and off the field. Yeah, because as I say, to be a pro, you've got to train like a pro. You've got to act like a pro. So the
how you do it.
Exactly. The great thing I have is being able to know how the pros work as well, give some of the boys advice.
And it's let them know that it's that long-term goal that it's not easy and it's going to take a long time.
And that's the thing in terms of the game where it's different, where people may not know behind the scenes. It's really tough game. It's a really tough game. 17, 18, 19 coming in the game, like you said about people expect people to make it 19. It's a tough game.
On that point, you mentioned the word patience earlier, right? So Jaden, for example, went out situation at City, went out to Dortmund, doing well. You mentioned Panzer as well. Went out to Monaco. There's a few other young players. Reece Nelson. These players have ventured out. And if we look at it, it seems that it's paying dividends. Based on what you're seeing with the guys you're working with now, I mean, you said that some of them have not played academy before and they've signed to clubs. What is there something with patience within this country that we're not getting right? That for some odd reason our talents managers go to abroad and they're flourishing?
I think that the English game, there's so much money involved. And that means it's difficult to make a mark when the manager could just spend 60 million, 70 million on a season professional.
On guys like Pulisic.
You know, where
when you got Hudson-Odoi there, you're signing Pulisic. Do you know what I mean?
Pulisic is a top talent as well.
Let's put it this way: if Pulisic was from the UK, he'd be an FFD ball as well. So what are you saying?
Bro, if Pulisic was from the UK, they would be treating him like how they treat Cho.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. So what's FFD baller then? Because
those are guys that they've had clips and whatnot, and you've known them from a long time. I don't. If Pulisic would obviously have had to been from the ends and known you from that sort of relationship like that. Like if he was from like Milton Keynes and whatnot, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't say necessarily. No, it's not like that.
Man's in Milton Keynes,
Listen, we cater
everyone. Jokes aside, you do cater everyone.
Our academy, we got boys for every week coming from Birmingham, Milton Keynes, Reading.
That was one thing I was just going to ask actually. How do you?
It's difficult for us to get over there because we got a base where we are, but. The great thing about social media is the boys can you can connect.
That's
and
where it comes in handy.
Very flexible in terms of we train 3 times a week, but if they're from let's say Birmingham or Manchester,
you'd probably only expect 1 or 2 sessions a week if you'd give some leniency.
This is where it's important, like I said, managing yourself off the pitch because you got to be doing your stuff. Because if I don't see you, the next time I see you, I can see if you're working or not.
Yeah.
You could say what you want to say, but
you can
shows
see
on the pitch.
it's pays dividend.
Now, how do you? Sorry, just quickly. How does someone become an FFD footballer then? So if someone wants to join the academy, would you go out and spot them, or do they come to you?
So the academy can email. You can send clips. You can come down. You can train. We also like to give people the opportunity to see what they're about in terms of not just saying, "Oh, you're gonna come and play this game straight away."
Yeah.
You might have to train a month.
Yeah. Put the work in.
Too, if you trust what we do, which glad a lot of the boys do because they've seen what we've done before. So that's a part of it as well. Some guys, you have to say, listen,
got to trust the process.
This is your month program,
and
you just got to wait. Some people say, you know what, I can't wait. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But they just got to trust us.
No, 100%. And I think that's why you probably keep a big pool of players as it is, because you know that there's different sort of levels and then you might not always have the same players available to you.
Exactly.
Or you have loads of talented players at the same time too.
Exactly. And some of the guys there are semi-pro clubs as well. I don't say, look, you just got to play for us because we play showcase games. So we're not in a league. So if you've got a semi-pro club and you got games once a week.
You still got.
So essentially then you've kind of turned your YouTube 2-minute showcases into now an actual academy where people can now showcase themselves. So which is actually come a long way, but just thinking of that sort of how long you've come, has your team grown in that time, and what's it been like behind the scenes seeing that grow?
Behind the scenes, I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of people, because I'm the face and people say it's just me, but there's a
because you've just started now to sort of show your face and do interviews now, so is there a big team behind you? Because I can't imagine it's just a one-man army sort of thing.
There's a team in terms of
you got coaches and whatnot.
Coaches, people arrange the games.
Yeah.
Graphic designers, video. It's
it's important to have the team.
But you need to. The thing what's important is you need people that believe in
the product. Yeah.
We believe in youth.
100%.
Youth. Everyone in youth.
Believe in you.
Did you know he sends that to the group chat every 2 minutes?
We believe in you.
But yeah, go on.
So it's important for everyone to believe in youth, and I feel now is a time where if people don't believe in youth now.
I think you touched on it earlier as well, where we've won the Under-17 World Cup, obviously.
Couple man don't believe in you.
But now, where you said, obviously, where we've won the Under-17 World Cup as well, I think now, as you're saying, it is probably a key time English to touch into it.
This 2000 team, I know people talk, but if the level's high.
Is there any key standouts like in there?
I've named them already. Jadon Sancho, Hudson-Odoi, Phil Foden, Jonathan Panzo, Angel Gomez.
Yeah.
Ryan Brewster.
Listen,
Damari Gray.
He doesn't get spoken about.
Damari, he's not that age group though. He's
Some man don't know about youth in it, so they're just
Okay.
Listen, I'm a seasoned vet, man. Give me a rest.
The first playing Premier. He's not in touch with youth like that.
No, Ryan Brewster's a good one because I see
Ryan Brewster. Talks about being an advocate of youth. Can't even get the names right.
Ryan. He's a baller, and I see him always banging goals. But it's gonna be hard for him to get into.
He's just come back from injury with 2 goals though.
Exactly. So what's the pathway for people like that? You know what I'm saying?
I think with someone like Sturridge and Origi's contracts running out this summer, that's maybe where a path can come in for him. But I'll be honest with you, I think possibly a loan spell.
Look what happened to Solanke.
That's true. I think Solanke's a little different because they got him on a free from Chelsea. They didn't feel that obligation to play him, whereas I think Bruce has come through their academy. and he's actually shown at the youth levels he can do it. I think just coming back from the injury, them 2 goals outside the box screamers.
Soon he's gonna have Harry Kane shaking, boy.
Soon
he's gonna have Harry Kane
You're the
shaking.
only one who backs you then.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one that.
No, he's the only one that shoves youth down our throat.
Favors youth.
Okay.
So, what Cam's issue is that he doesn't like any criticism
Of
youth whatsoever.
Rashford.
Not even just Rashford, nah, because I
No, let me
bet a
go,
lot of
let me
players,
go,
a lot
let
of
me go,
players
let
that
me go.
protect.
He likes to spread bet, innit? So like he'll say one thing and then he'll cover it with something else. So like he'll say that Rashford didn't have a bad game because Lukaku played bad. Like, but accountability is key. Like you said, like some of these guys have
The
to be
game.
accountable.
Listen, the game
of
is
their-
opinions. So the
game is opinions,
Speech,
and
he can say what he feels.
I want to
You know
ask
what I
you
mean?
something. Right? We've spoken about a lot of
Sorry.
players, right? What is the line between natural talent and someone that's worked hard?
The
Is
line-
is it clear to see at the level that you're working with that someone that's got their natural roof is here and someone that's really working hard? Is it clear at that level?
It's a tough question because over the last 7 years,
Yeah,
I've probably seen over 1,000 players or
there's a
more.
lot of players.
So natural talent, sometimes you have to see it. It's hard to explain. But example I give you, like when I met Reese and Jaden before we done a video, like 12 years old, and I said,
yeah,
you could see them, and you could see these boys from South, and the level was top level. And we had a session, and it was against 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, skillful in terms of street players.
Yeah.
You know, top level street players, and you just knew if you was there, everyone knew.
No,
Yeah.
And that, I'm like you. That time I was like, listen, you lot need to be aware of these guys. Imagine I'm saying at 14, people's like, yo, people saying, what are you talking
They
about?
don't believe. They don't believe.
Sometimes
It
you
has
have
to
see
slap
it.
them in the face. It has to slap them in the face.
What, egg on the face?
It has to be an egg on their face. Like Sancho, a lot of people don't believe in his thing. Everyone was saying when he moved on, everyone was saying,
they said
why
it
would
was
he
a
do
big
that?
risk.
You can play under Pep. You could do all this, all of that rubbish. And now look what he's gonna do. He's probably gonna be maybe he might be European Golden Boy now. So that's a big thing.
shout.
Only Raheem Sterling won it last time, and now look what Sterling's gone on to do. So they just gotta believe.
Sterling,
in these players.
great you mentioned Sterling. Top talent.
Top.
Talent. I think
Top.
for in terms of what I'm about and a lot of people that I work with in terms of the grassroots and the street type of players and what Sterling's gone through
Yeah.
is just sensational. How he's come through the other side and
Yeah.
now it's like a poster boy. You know, hopefully
Exactly.
hopefully keeps going on. You know,
Yeah.
top stats this year and. Yeah, he's a great role model for
Yeah.
the young guys we mentioned already. They love him. He's a top
Yeah.
role model for them.
Yeah,
so
no, definitely. You see it when he went to the England camp. They looked like they were all like his little brothers and that. And so that's
That
the
was their
maturity
older
that he showed.
almost, yeah.
With a lot of the
that's
players as well
good.
that you're seeing that you said they've not been in academies.
yeah,
What is their level of development like? So like you said, you went to Southampton, right? And you
Sure.
said that the players were gone. So the players that have not been in academies that you're working with that have got like good levels. Is that because it's purely that they've street-based football and technically they're crazy, or is it where has that football and education for them come from?
a lot of it is down to opportunity. So the Swansea game was very important because we've played 4 Premier League clubs this year, 6 Championship clubs this year, and previous games we may have crumbled under, let's say, pressure. But that experience of going into them buildings before has now allowed the mind to be in a different place. So that's why development is important, and that's why, in terms of opportunities, is important as well. And I think that all we wanted to do is give people a platform. When I was younger, we didn't really have that opportunity.
Did you kick ball when you was younger?
Yeah.
What sort of
Until I
level?
was semi-pro, and then just
Most man here were dead. Most man here were dead.
Starting with him.
Most man here were dead. It says for me,
You saw
I was
his
the only
first
one that
touch
was
out
good.
there.
I was
You
the
saw
only-
his
Any
first
man
touch
that
out
wears
there.
a woolly hat, yeah, with
Wow.
a football shirt, yeah. He's not a good footballer still.
You know when people wear like random tops so they look like they know football. That's what it is.
No! That's an evil out of the MLS top to look intelligent.
You know that one's there.
It's cold, isn't it? It's cold, isn't it?
You know that man there.
Yo! What is going on?
Hear what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, something's going on.
But
Yeah, man.
that
I
is
mean,
funny.
swag, man. But
100%, man. So did you go through that academy, or was you just...
no, I stopped, and then I started doing music. got into that
Okay,
side
one of
thing.
them,
So
man.
another thing about FFD, a lot of the music is made by my friends.
Nice,
Oh,
man.
snap.
Hey, no, that's
We
big.
plug in everyone.
So
give
we
it
don't
back
just
on
so we don't just use any tracks. We use a lot of his London kind of.
Yeah. That's the best thing
Keeping
about
it
FFD
in-house.
for me is that it just has
There's
that
a culture
street
around it.
feel.
Yeah,
It just
there's
has
a
that
culture
street
around
feel. Everyone can relate to it. You don't feel when you go in there, you feel like you've seen this before. This is what you and your friends used to do. Nothing seems too unrealistic. You know when you go and
Yeah,
watch
it's just-
like academy like stuff, it's like I've never been at that level. I've never played there, so like you can't really
gotta be
relate to it. But
natural,
this is
it's-
very relatable.
And that's how we built our name. Go in the park, just put the camera on, just play ball.
Yeah.
That's it. And in terms of the guys that we're working with heavily now, it's down to who shows up on a day, who prepares themselves mentally and physically, best. And if the person watching likes you, it's hard. Because every player that I believe I put in a squad
It's good enough.
should get signed. That's
Yeah.
what I believe. But it's down to what the other person watching sees as well.
So
tell you
what happens? Sorry, man. What happens if you have a player, and he's been like you've had him for ages, and he just keeps not getting signed? No one's coming for him. Do you eventually got to be like, yo, listen, you gotta go, or is it? Do you just stick with them until their age limit is like gone over? What happens?
I think it's down to
Talk about yourself.
The individual as well.
Boy, if I can say I'm 17, and I can come play for you, man. Honestly,
Nigerians.
You
I need
see?
to check out the details. But no, it's down to we always try and give advice. So
Okay.
we won't just let you leave you in the lurk and say, okay, just keep coming, and we're not going to give you no feedback. We'll let you know where you're going wrong.
Season by season.
Yeah, and then we just go from there.
So you kind of you've got to kind of judge it yourself as well. For example, if you
course.
say to someone like you need to work on your fitness, and they're not working on the fitness, and they keep going to these showcase games and it's not working out.
No,
you
they won't keep going to the showcase.
Oh,
games.
okay, yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah. That makes sense.
Exactly. You can't just slack on the job. You
Yeah,
can't,
yeah,
you're
yeah, of
doing the
course.
job. Yeah.
But D, so let's say it's match day now. Let's say you're going to like a Swansea and whatnot. A lot of the platform's grown because of that kind of street culture, that edge to it where it's kind of like flamboyant and whatnot. Let's say it's match day now. You're playing against these guys. They've got their own system because academies build their own system and whatnot. It becomes a scruffy game. What is the approach then? Are you still an advocate of play that style, or do you kind of say that you have to be adaptive, you have to do something more pragmatic?
Yeah, good question. Always changes. That's where my job comes into it. That's where the coaches,
Yeah,
job
no,
comes into it,
100%. Yeah.
because you can't go to Southampton and pop them off the pitch.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, you got to adapt. You got to know that we're going to Southampton. We know how they're going to play.
Just a
That's
quick
why-
one. Is Southampton, is that the standard then?
The
Because you
creme
mentioned-
de la
you mentioned
creme.
them, a few times. Like,
No, I wouldn't say the creme de la creme. There's some, there's Man City's top academy.
Yeah.
Chelsea's a top academy.
you don't-
Arsenal's a
you
top
don't-
academy.
Purchase.
No.
Yeah.
Listen. All, to be honest, no, I can't. All
Yeah,
these
that's what
all of these
produced it.
academies
Yeah.
are top academies.
Yeah.
Let's not. But the reason why I said Southampton is because we've played them,
few
and
times.
that's one of the best teams we've played.
Ah.
What was the
So I
score?
can't
What
say-
was the score?
2-0 we lost.
2-0. That's not
So-
even that bad.
It's I mean, if you saw, it was a different day for us
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of that night.
You know when the manager
For
says
a
it was a
striker,
different-
for a
you know when the
striker, it
manager
must have been
says-
impossible to
Listen,
impress.
You know when the
Listen,
manager
half-time
says
at
it was a
stake-
different day for us, you know it's...
Striker, we had to make give him a change at half time.
Yeah,
he's
that's
just
tough.
chasing.
Nah.
But we
You
were
grow
already
from them
prepared for that.
situations, yeah.
Exactly. So to answer your question, it always changes in terms of who we play. You know, we play semi-pro teams also. We play League One, League Two, Conference, all across the range. So depending on which team it is, that's where our job comes into it.
Yeah.
Does the level change with the academy you're playing as well? 'Cause you mentioned Southampton. Let's say you go and play like a Mayo, you
Yeah.
play like a, I don't know, a Whitehawk.
Yeah.
Is it evident to see the difference in level as you go? Or
Of
is
course,
it kind of
yeah.
everyone's just kind of a youth player, just a different team?
You got to respect different buildings.
Mm.
Everyone offers something different. Burnley and Southampton, 2 Premier League clubs, but totally different in their approach.
Mm.
You know, it was more of a... Burnley was like the weather was typical.
Typical
Could Messi do it?
Yeah.
Messi do it down
South
there.
Moor, you know.
it was like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we got there and it was like, I said, boys, look, it's that kind of day.
Yeah.
It's the day that you don't want, you know.
Nah,
you know,
100%,
you think-
yeah.
But these guys, that's how they're ready. But, so in terms of that day, it was a lot of more direct long balls, you know. But for their system, them boys will get pros.
Yeah.
You know, they got guys that they look at in their first team who that's their role model. They're not looking at, I don't know,
X, Y, and Z.
Neymar.
Yeah.
It's true. And that's something I need to.
Chris Wood and them, man.
That's something that I need to explain as well. That it's difficult when we're all. A lot of boys are from a similar background in terms of the guys who made it professional, and the guys that are in my academy is diverse. And people might say, look, because you've worked with these other guys, we expect you to be like this. I'm like, no, we got guys like Kante in our building. He's just a workaholic. You know, we got centre backs who they don't dilly dally. If they have to kick it off the pitch, that's how they're playing. So it's hard to sometimes break down what's glitz and glamour and what is going to get you the pro. Yeah, this is a business. This is a job. I always say to the boys, listen, look at it like when you're going to a job, you need to apply. What's your blueprint? What's
your action plan?
Yeah, and they look at me like sometimes, what do you mean? I'm like, no. In your position, what do you do on and off the pitch?
What's your target?
What do you do on and off the ball? And that's where our job comes into play. Listen, as a winger, you need to deliver,
stretch the play,
5-6 crosses,
get to the byline,
1/2, assist, goal. You know, these things like that. Work back as well. Centre backs,
set targets for them.
Exactly, clean sheets. Different positions requires different roles.
100%.
And that's where sometimes we've gone to a game and they say, look, we might lose 2-0, and my centre back says, I've had a top game, and I say, you have, but that's not going to get you the pro.
That was definitely me.
Definitely just leaking goals.
No. You know, it's 2-0 is that, but you know what? Yeah, man, won all my aerial duels.
You have conversations. You're thinking, look.
I was a baller, by the way. Let me just put that on.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to run my reputation.
No. Sometimes you got to break it down. You know, and that's why it's good to have analysis. To watch the game back, we get the footage back.
Good.
So
that's nice.
Cool.
That's nice.
Good.
So so they can see where we've gone wrong.
So how? But here's.
Do
You,
you,
yeah, go on.
If there was, just speaking on the players you sort of obviously had come through your alumni, sort of, if you want to call them that, but if there was a standout player who maybe not everyone's so privy to, could you tell us a low-key one who not everyone knows about?
Who's next up?
Who's next up,
Who
or
we
you would
looking
say?
out for?
Or even if you're going to give us 2 or 3 names to just keep an eye out for.
I wouldn't say, I know it's going to seem like a diplomatic answer, but
you've got 1,000 players.
there's no specific one player because everyone's got a different style.
Okay.
So for me, like I said, everyone I bring to the games, I believe they should
It should be signed up,
So I can't say my winger, he's could get signed and my centre back, because I don't believe he can just get signed and my centre back can't. I believe everyone can get signed. So
Okay. So I've heard you mention this Kante player that you've
I
got.
love Kante.
So now I've heard him in a few interviews now. He sounds like a standout one. What position does he play?
he's
His
centre
name's
midfielder.
Centre midfielder. Kante.
His name's
So
Kante.
literally like Kante.
His name's
He's
Kante.
going to be up front. He's going to be a striker.
Hey, listen, I thought that was the name.
His name's Kante.
I'm trying to get the name. I thought that was the name. I thought that was the name.
No. It's Kante is
Okay, named after Kante. Okay, gotcha now. I'm with the program.
When you're doing your do you feel like you get like respect from the academy coaches when you play against them? Like, do you think like, because young black man doing your thing, coaching, that's not even common nowadays with black coaches in general, let alone the way you've started via the social media and all that type of thing. Do you feel like you get that respect from opposition managers, kind of? Because like I remember when I used to just do little coaching when I used to do colleges and stuff, and then they'll shake my hand, they'll look at me like, you're just some like young little boy, like what am I kind of why are we talking to each other, kind of thing? So does it do you get that kind of reaction?
I feel I've had no problems. I've had like the last year and a half since we started, we've played, I would say maybe about 8 Premier League clubs, 10 Championship clubs, 10 League One clubs, League Two. So, and the way they approach things, a lot of respect. A lot of it has to do. Football is a game where you always have to earn your respect.
Yeah,
that's what I believe. So, for me, we've earned our respect in terms of what we've done before. So there's a certain respect there. Yeah, you know, they have to respect.
Do you think it's on the same? Do you think it's the same on the pitch as well? Because these players at academies, they're playing against. Obviously, you're not a professional academy.
Yeah, sure.
Do you feel like sometimes, like, if you say, for example, your team are winning, do you feel like you get them little comments like, "How are we losing to these man? How are we doing?" You know what I'm talking about?
To be honest with you, a lot of the academies we go to, they know us already. In
Okay,
terms of the
good.
boys.
Yeah.
Not saying the managers, not saying the managers,
But
but
the boys know each other.
yeah, you know, a lot of these boys, they look up to boys that I've worked with.
Yeah, no.
So they'll say, "Oh yeah, FFD. Oh yeah."
Okay, yeah.
So that's a good thing when social media comes in.
Because the
as
Instagram
well.
is huge.
Yeah.
Your Instagram
No,
is huge,
it's-
so a lot of people are probably following you from the professional
Yeah.
clubs and
So,
stuff as
with,
well. So
with the players, though, I mean, like I said, social media is a massive thing now. Football, like I said, there's loads of money now. What is the hardest challenge for a young player trying to break into, to not even to just get a pro now, to go on and have a successful career? What is the hardest challenge at the moment?
I would say the hardest challenge is to remain focused when there's so much distractions.
goals,
Yeah.
goals.
There's so much going on,
just
too
and I
much.
think that
So keep that off, Mike.
you have to always advice always give to not just young footballers, just in general, just believe in what you believe in, and it might not be a day to day, but next month, next year, it could be a time. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't look. No one's gonna be fighting your corner for you if you're not fighting for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe that you have to believe in yourself. That's it. Push,
And
push.
You've got players, pros, right?
Yeah.
So there's this kind of assumption that once you've got your pro, you've made it. But what is it like in regards to players that get pros and actually go and have like successful careers? Is there like a massive drop off? Because we've probably all know youngsters that have signed pros.
Yeah.
Next few years, we don't know where people are.
Yeah, it depends on what you see as success. Some people having a 15-year career,
Yeah.
they're successful. Their family's nice. They're in the game just to provide their family.
Yeah.
Their mom, their cousin, and that's it. Some people say, I want to be one of the best in the world. It's not always going to work like that.
It all depends on personal ambition, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some players that I might see and they say, look, if he don't win a Ballon d'Or,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it's not good enough.
What would you say is like if a player had to have one key attribute to try and get that pro, what would you say it is, aside from
Physicality.
work ethic, obviously, which is the obvious answer? But if there was something aside from work ethic that you could say any player could bring that,
In terms of getting a pro,
or even just in general trying to become a pro, what is that one key attribute that you think would make the difference for a player?
it's not one.
Yeah, you can't.
I always say surround yourself with the right people. That's something that's underrated.
Okay, that's very true, actually. Yeah,
Off the pitch.
being in the
I
right
was-
environment.
I would say knowing what you want out of the game, knowing what you want out of every training session. You know, don't just go to, I'm going to go to the gym and what did you do? Oh, just done some legs. What did you do?
Mm.
And what are you going to do next week?
Okay.
So, exactly.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Yeah.
And reach your goals every month, every week. And then from
Set
there, you can
targets.
see some development.
It's not like, next
Exactly. Like we said before, like your point, we can't all make it at 19
Mm-hmm.
and be the next superstar.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with that though. You could make it at 24, 25 and your life's sorted.
Yeah.
Each player has their own path in a way,
That's
so
it.
it's
Don't
just a
judge
matter
yourself
of
on no one else.
yeah, follow your blueprint type
Exactly.
of thing. But yeah, no, I hear you. I
I
hear
want to
you.
ask you a side question aside. Remember the Kepa situation with Sarri, right? Being someone that's a
People
manager-
always ask you this.
No, but you're a manager. You're a manager. So there's this kind of like perception that young talented players have attitude and whatnot. La, 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 la. If that was you in that situation, knowing
It's not
that
happening.
Thank you.
It's not happening.
it's like straight from the jump, it's not happening.
There's got to be a level of respect there. Man.
So from the jump, so within that situation, without saying too much about it, there's something that's happened that has made that come to light essentially. Because you're saying it would never happen with you.
That the boys respect me and respect us.
Sorry.
And no. They respect.
He's saying sorry, got no respect.
No. I couldn't even talk for myself. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But you ask me in terms of me.
Yeah.
I believe that just wouldn't happen. But I might be surprised. It might happen, and then I have to deal with it.
There seems to be this key theme with FFD, which is almost this family theme.
Yeah.
In terms of you've known the players, some of them for a long time.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a long time. You know their families. And it seems that with that family feel comes with that respect. So you can have honest conversations with the players. You can tell them, listen, you're not cutting your level and whatnot. Do you feel that lack of, not family feel, but that kind of honesty is what's amounting to some players' shortcomings? Because you see it where some players make it at a certain level, and it's like you've made them, people worshipping them, but there's still another level they could go to.
There's some players where I've seen some top talents, and there's some players that you've never seen and you will never see, but the level's just, I believe the game sometimes is a bit easy for them, and it's hard. It's hard sometimes. Football's a funny game. Some people work so hard and they get to a certain level and they're top professionals, and you got some that's just, it's just a gift, it's just special, something different. So I've never been in that situation where the game's too easy for me, so I don't know how I deal with it. No, you don't know how people deal with it. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but everyone's got their own path. It's hard. It's hard to pinpoint why some people it goes wrong for some people, but I try and advise people on what I think has made some people successful in the game. I
feel like there was especially from like this 2000 crop, for example, I feel like there was a whole set of like players. I don't even want to name too many names. Like there's a Chelsea players, the Arsenal players and stuff that they get to a level and then they start partying, they start girls, all these type of things. Like they get distracted. But I think that's because already they're at clubs that they're not getting any, like they ain't seen any inspiration of who's gonna break through from there. If I'm a young Chelsea player and I'm coming through in the last like 3 years, I've got no example of anyone that's making it at Chelsea. So once I get that, I'm just gonna run with it. I'm a youth footballer, girls are coming in, all this stuff. I'm enjoying my life.
It's easy,
but now with these 2000 players, you've got people like Foden getting minutes, you've got Sancho moving away. I feel like if you're coming through now, you're like, yeah, man, I can make it. Look what, I don't even have to make it at my club. I can make it there, I can make it here. And I feel like you're going to get a lot more serious. I'm talking about the black players, but young black players that are serious and focused. I feel like you're going to get a lot more of them now than you were before. Sterling's obviously a great role model for them as well. So
I think a lot of it is down to, a lot of the players I've worked with is from a similar background. I know you said black players, but it's I would say it's environment. Not just black players. But it's down to role models, like Raheem's a top role model, like you said. And I believe some of the guys coming through, there'll be big role models, like you said, as well. And I think that's a big part of what we wanted to do in the beginning of just, most of the guys was at academies already. 10 years old, 11 years old, the guys you mentioned already. But just having an extra bit of freedom and having a bit of fun in the park.
Express themselves.
Is, you can't buy that back now. If you talk to the guys, you've seen them in interviews now, they'll say, look, we just play how we did in the park and in the cages, and that kind of thing is where, I know you said it's tough sometimes where people lose their way, but you wouldn't change the environment for nothing, me personally, because some of the things that you learn from that environment in terms of mental strength, in terms of hardship, you just can't buy that.
No, you can't replicate.
On that note, bro, love to know your opinion about, is there any hope for Asian players? Like, have you got are there any ballers that in your academy that you think that is a chance? Like, because it's
that's an interesting one. I've met a lot of top Asian players. I think the time will come. I think there's some.
You're saying it's a long time away, is it?
No. I just think it's an interesting one because I'm not as deep in with the Asian community, so I've met, like I said, some talented Asian players. Just everyone has their time, like I say.
Fair enough.
So to finish off with, what's next for? Because I mean, had the platform, had the academy. What's next?
The app's now, like I said, the app's out. Also, I'll be doing a lot more work myself.
Okay.
Interviews like this. Also, just the main aim was to change the English game.
Clothing line. You got a clothing line. It didn't come with no merch.
Eyeball.
No merch.
The delivery didn't come yesterday. You'll get them definitely. You'll get them definitely.
Love for that, man.
But just our aim in the beginning was to try and influence the English game and show that we have got skillful players.
Yeah. And I want that. I think you've done that. I mean, the Instagram shows that people are actually looking at
crazy.
Thanks. There's a lot more to do, but just keep on spreading that energy across the world, and also try and help as much young men as possible and females as possible. So that's my main aim. Yeah,
that's powerful, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you actually put light on. It's actually crazy because there's that baller, Amari Amari Hutchinson, I think
Yeah,
it is.
I know very well, yeah.
Like I saw him from when he was like 10 or something, and it's like it's mad how you're now being able to see 10-year-old players.
Listen, you've got
Do you know
the
what I mean?
9-year-old
That's
Ramel.
ridiculous.
Ramel Carter, yeah.
That's it,
Then
yeah.
Yeah.
He's 39.
Yeah, he was the one that was doing the
Yeah,
treadmill thing,
yeah,
innit? And that went
and I was
viral.
like, that's
I don't
mad.
even want to see him for another 10 years. Like, it's mad.
You know the thing about that's the thing about social media.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's interesting where young players get to start earlier.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of competition as well, and social media is good for that aspect. We could see, oh, this guy's from this area and he's
Yeah.
quite
Ah,
doing
definitely,
this.
yeah,
that's
yeah.
good. That's what I love about it.
But with that though, don't you think like, well, do you think like if, for example, if they're getting exposure from 10 years old and stuff, and they're like a skillful 10-year-old or 9-year-old, all of these agencies and all these freestylers are gonna want to be doing things with it. Ain't that a bit distracting for a little 10-year-old? Yeah, I mean,
think-
you're getting approached by all these agencies to do skills and do this and go do
I
that.
think you need to
Next thing you know, they're
But
on
I
Soccer
think that's
AM
where
and
he
stuff.
said
and
you
they're
kind
like
of
10.
have to have the plan
Look,
and
you
have
say?
the
you have to have a
targets.
plan.
Go on, dude.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you have to have a plan, but people may have said that about me filming Jaden at Reese at 14 for a team.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I believe if you do what you need to do, you get to where you need to get.
Yeah.
So it's down to, like I say, on and off the pitch, also family is a big part.
Yeah.
You know, all these guys you mentioned, they've got a big support from their family, and that plays a big difference as well. And I think as well, for young players or players trying to make it in the game, as well as friends, family is a big part as well.
100%.
You've got to be very family orientated to progress this, I believe, as well.
No, definitely. You're part of the Stoppage Time family as well now.
Oh,
But
no, man, no,
just so you
thank
know, this is our first guest, man.
No,
That's
yeah,
family
yeah.
right now,
Thanks for
man.
having me, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Massive thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, we're looking forward.
Definitely have to do this again.
Bring us
sometime,
down.
man.
Bring us down. We want to
Yeah,
see
man.
some
Yeah,
games. We
come
want
to
to
a
see some
game.
talents as
We
well.
want to see some
Yeah.
of the young people as well, man. It's interesting to get some of their perspectives as well. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's competitive at that level, man.
Of course, of
Competitive,
course.
But appreciate it, man.
Insightful, man.
No, thanks for having me, man.
No, wicked,
Yeah.
man. We'll have to do this again.
Definitely.